All right. Well, I'm here with Matt Beck, our worship pastor here at Ustick Baptist, and let's get right into it.
Sounds good.
Okay, a few questions for you.
Okay.
Okay. Question number one. How would you describe worship? So, what is it? Why should Christians practice it? How would you describe it?
Yeah. Worship definitely is one of those terms that can be described in a different ways, but one of the ones that I like is actually found in a book that I have read before, and it's called The Complete Worship Leader by Kevin Navarro, and it says worship is our response to what God has revealed about himself. So as you think about that, our response to what God has revealed, I think about, God has revealed himself to us. And he really didn't have to. He didn't have to. He could be a God that was out there and just kind of be out there in out there in space and just not make himself known. But yet he allowed us that opportunity to get to know him personally. And so as we do that, our response is to worship him in awe and in reverence for who he is and what he's done. I like this verse found in Psalms 1 or 19. It says this, Psalms chapter 19, verses 1 and 4. The heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of his hands. Day after day they pour forth speech. Night after night they reveal knowledge. They have no speech and they use no words. No sound is heard from them, but yet their voice goes out into all the world. And their words are the ends of the world. Yeah.
That's good. I love that. Yeah, it makes me think about a lot of things. Cool. All right. Well, next question then. So, and this is kind of a personal one, but so how old were you when you think that you truly began to understand what worship is, and what were the circumstances that helped you get to that point?
Yeah, as I think back to my time in high school, I would say that was probably when I first really started recognizing what worship was about. And I think back to, actually it was my stepping out and developing my own personal relationship with Christ. It wasn't me just following my parents and going to church and just kind of living, what they did. But that's when I started understanding, okay, this is a relationship that I should have with Christ. And so as I did that, I began to learn what worship was. And then also my youth pastor was one who had a big impact in my life. And he taught on worship. He helped us to understand what worship was about. And so as I grew into that, I learned the spiritual disciplines of the Christian life and began to understand how to practice those, and worship was one of them.
Cool. So it sounds like it was really just a response to knowing God and who he is, and not just thinking it was something that you were supposed to do, but something that you felt like was a response to knowing God.
Yeah, and it was something intentional that I had to start doing. It's not just something that just came out of my life, but it was something intentional that I learned to do and how to do it, and then continue to practice even now.
Nice. Love it. Okay, so as a worship pastor, and as a youth pastor, I think this sometimes, obviously it would be great if every Christian showed up to worship on Sunday with just this burning passion to worship the Lord with enthusiasm and sincerity. But throughout the generations, many churchgoers have not participated in the appointed worship time. So let me ask you this. Why do you think that some Christians just don't sing during worship?
Yeah, that's a great question. And one of the things that just kind of pops in my mind, a lot of people I think are afraid. It's just the fear. Fear in how they sound, whether or not they're going to sound good. Fear in what other people are going to think about them as they do it. And, that peer pressure that is out there. And so for me, I think a lot of people are afraid. Another aspect to it is just not understanding what worship is. They don't understand, how worship plays a part in our Christian life. Another one could be also the fact that they might be living their life differently throughout the week, and then come in on Sunday and are portraying something that they are really not. And so, another thing also that popped in my mind are distractions. There could be distractions that are going on, maybe up on stage, Or maybe the songs are songs sung in a range that might be too high for them or something along those lines. So there are a lot of components to it, but the more I think about it, it's something that you have to be intentional and do. You may not always like it. You may not like some of the songs that are being sung, or may not even know some of the songs that are sung. But it's not so much of you just doing the motion, but you and your relationship with God and making that a priority.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I certainly identify with a lot of those. I've caught myself sometimes. I'm like, I gotta sing in just that right volume so that I'm singing out loud, but the person next to me can't hear me, because
Yeah.
if they hear me, it's all of a sudden I just want to turn around and walk away or something.
Right.
Yeah, that's a strange thing. Yeah, we really gotta be just understanding what worship is and just kind of throw that inhibition away.
Yeah, exactly.
So what advice would you give to a Christian who is having a hard time with worship? Because, my belief is that every Christian wants to worship with sincerity, but sometimes they just have a hard time getting that worship out. What advice would you give to someone?
Yeah, that's a great question. And just some things that kind of pop into my mind are definitely, it requires practice. And maybe practice on your own, during your own personal devotional time. Singing in the car is something that I love to do. Going down the road and listening to songs and singing along with them.
Yeah, keep your eyes open though, right?
Exactly, yes. Don't be closing those eyes when you're doing that. But and pray for God to open your eyes to Him and to what it means to worship. And as we worship together, different people will do that with different forms of expressions. And so it's just a matter of you finding out what is most comfortable for you in that aspect. And another thing is to maybe read through the Psalms. The Psalms are a great way. David is expressing himself to God in a number of ways. And so as you read through the Psalms, you can see how David expresses himself. A lot of our songs that we sing come from the Psalms too.
Yeah.
And so you can learn that. And then another thing is I love watching people that I look up to and how they worship. I learn a lot when I see someone that I know that I think they're doing a good job, and I love to watch and see how they do it as well.
Cool. Yeah, that's good advice. Okay, last question. What's one of your favorite worship songs, and why?
Yeah, I sat here and I thought about that for quite some time, trying to come up with what would be a good song that I have used over my years. And the more I thought about it, is I don't have one specific worship song that I enjoy, but yet I have different songs that come out during different seasons of my life. And as I go through seasons, as I go through times, one worship song will come out and be one that really just helps me through that season. And as I thought about the season of life that I'm in right now, one of the songs that I really enjoy singing and have gotten I resonate with a lot is the song Great Things by Phil Wickham. And it reminds me that I need to worship God in all the things that I'm going through and in all the areas of my life. And as I do that, He does great things in my life. I just want to read a couple of the lyrics here from this song. It says, "Come, let us worship our King. Come, let us bow at His feet, because He has done great things." As we look at our life and look back at my own life and see God has brought me through a lot. He has done great things in my life. And the second verse even talks about, the storms that I go through. And it says, "You've been faithful through every storm. You be faithful forevermore. You have done great things." As we go through storms of life, as we think about these things. And what this song does is it just takes that picture of my life, what I've been through, the struggles that I've been through, and helps me remember that God has been there every step of the way. He's doing great things in and through me. And that's one of the songs right now that just kind of resonates with me as I sing it. I love the words and the energy that it brings to it. It just reminds me that the Christian life is exciting.
Yeah.
That it's fun. And God is there to encourage us and support us through it.
Yeah. And I feel like if I were to sing those lyrics, that would help me to take my eyes off of myself and to focus on the Lord and to say, God, you've done great things, and it's not me, it's you. And so I know worship has always been such a helpful thing to kind of really become less selfish and to focus less on myself and more on who God is and what he's doing. So.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. And that's what it brings us back to, is worship is our response to what God has revealed about himself.
Cool.
So as we respond, that's what I remember. We respond to God in what he has given and responded back to us.
Nice. Cool. Well, thank you for the wise words, Matt.
Thank you for the opportunity, John.
Yeah, appreciate it.